Kelvin Obasuyi has become the first Nigerian to be awarded the Oxford Black Leaders Program for Black or Mixed Black Exceptional Young Leaders at Oxford University for a Masters in Business Administration at the said business school. The Oxford Black Scholars Program, which was announced in October of 2023, according to Oxford said business school, is part of Oxford's commitment to empowerment and to empower the next generation of black business leaders and to ensure that businesses are inclusive, diverse, and representative. Dr. Obasuyi joins us right now. I want to say many thanks and compliments of the season. All right, let's get started. Doctor, I would like to hear from you. How do you describe your achievement as the the very first Nigerian awardee for Oxford's Black Leadership Scholarship, especially as it represents Oxford's commitment to empower the next generation of black business leaders and to ensure that businesses are inclusive, diverse, and also representative?
Thank you so much, Aaron, and thank you for having me here. I'd like to say it's a great honor to be recognized by Oxford as being the very first black leader of the school. I don't take it for granted. I believe that Oxford is showing its commitment, right, to fostering diversity and inclusiveness, right, in this regard. Oxford has shown that it's a different institution ahead of its peers by pushing forward the narrative of building a new business landscape even for black leaders, because a lot of great things are happening there. So beyond my personal recognition, I would say Oxford, precisely the business school, is doing creative things like beyond other Ivy League schools, and it's a great privilege to be honored by them.
Indeed, Kelvin. Now, what have you identified as the growth for MSMEs or startups in Nigeria?
Can you take the question again?
What have you identified as the growth of MSMEs or startups in Nigeria?
All right. So I'm the co-founder for 56 Capital, and one thing I realized that it's a big problem for SMEs is access to financial aid and also robust support over time. One of the reasons why 56 Capital was formed was to address these issues, right? Beyond providing funds for businesses, we've gone ahead to look at unstructured MSMEs. What you realize is that as much as you can put MSMEs in the buckets, right, as into industries, right, you realize that a lot of SMEs are like your fingerprints, right? They all have unique needs, right? And what we are doing is going into these businesses, having to look at what their unique problem is, and beyond giving them funds, we've been able to help them structure their businesses, right, to be able to scale, right? That's what 56 Capital has been doing for the past 8 years. We have crossed over 1,000 businesses we've supported thus far, right? And we have unique stories of change across board, across all industries, both through our debt financing and equity finance.
All right, one of the major challenges that besets the startup community and also small businesses here in Nigeria is funding. In your own opinion, how can we unlock private capital for SMEs and startups here in Nigeria?
Thank you for that question. I'd like to start from what the root cause of the problem is, right? So what you need to know is that MSMEs is the lifeblood of any nation or any economy, right? Look at the American economy. You realize that MSMEs contribute 50%, right, of the growth of that economy. They contribute over 50% of the GDP. Same thing with the Indian economy, which is quite close to the Nigerian economy. I think it's important that from the root cause, we have to see that MSMEs, it's an important integral part of Nigerians' development. The healthiness of MSMEs in the country, it's a litmus test to let you know what the development looks like, right? The first thing I think we need to do is how important is MSMEs to Nigeria, right? MSMEs also contribute about 50% of the jobs in Nigeria, which is a great thing to know, right? And I believe that if we can boost investors' confidence in the Nigerian economy, right, investing in MSMEs, talking about success stories, we hear that out of every 5 MSMEs that start, four die and one is successful. But we have a lot of tremendous case studies. I can remember one of the MSMEs we supported, apparently he was our company driver, right? He walked up to me and then he said, you know what, I want to do more than driving. I believe I can run a logistics company. And we said, you know what, we can see your drive, we can see your focus. We'll set you up as an MSME. And his company is called Vector, right? In December, he started his business with 5 bikes. As of June of this year, he's on his 100th bike, right? And he's doing tremendously well, generating healthy cash flows and is in the profits, right? These are tremendous good case studies of how MSMEs are thriving in Nigeria. A lot of the ones we've supported, we can see them having healthy cash flows, good cash reserves, right? Even in an economy where we know that inflation rates are high, you can see impressive profit margins from our SMMEs. I think it's good to begin to tell these stories even to the public and the wider community that great things are happening in Nigeria beyond what is being said abroad. Thank you.
Very good, Kelvin. Now, beyond the investment, as you alluded to just now, it is said that an enabling business environment is vital for small business. What reforms will be needed to transform SMEs to bigger entities, you think?
Thank you for that question. As much as the private sector is pushing development for SMEs, we cannot do it without the government, right? The government is as important as any other entity in any nation. We believe that if the regulatory systems are flexible for SMEs, right, it will be easy for them to scale their business, right? Take, for example, a tailor that begins to sew, registers a small business, right, and then gets funding from the government, right, to expand to be a bigger organization. Also, the government being able to set key metrics for growth for this business and handhold them till they are strong, big corporations, right? You have to remember that a nurtured SME has the potential to be a unicorn in the next 5, 6, 10 years, right? And even if they don't end up being unicorns, they end up being big corporations that can trigger expansions in the economy, increase government revenues, right? Employ more labor in Nigeria. I mean, think about the tremendous impact an SME that had 5 employees and now has grown to 100 employees, right? Catering for their families. The domino effect is just unimaginable. The impact is beyond what you can ever imagine. So I believe handholding SMEs in Nigeria is quite key, and also in Africa, to bring about sustainable development. I also feel that there should be things related to tax holidays for SMEs. This will give them enough breather to do greater things, to save more, to scale more, right? Even as they grow to achieve their desired visions in Nigeria. More so, personal development is important for SMEs, right? So one thing I have noticed is, like I've said, every SME has its unique problem, right? So you would realize that an organizational culture most times depend on the behavior of the CEO, right? If the CEOs or the MDs are better trained on how to scale their businesses, if a vision is sold to them in a different terrain, you will find that these businesses scale, right? You are able to have better human resource, right, in these businesses, and then you can see more ripple effects from these businesses down the line.
All right, Kelvin, good attributes there, no doubt. But just before you go, let me ask you this. How diverse and inclusive are businesses in the UK where you are currently, especially to the public minority?
All right. One thing I would say about the UK is that the UK has opened its doors to a lot of immigrants, right? And what you realize is that the government is really pushing to support Black businesses. There are a lot of symposiums where we are allowed to talk about our businesses, especially like a lot of institutions where we talk about what kind of funds we need. Talk about the seed fund in Oxford, where you come forward, you talk about your business, you get funding for your business. I think UK has seen that the world is a global village, right? You have to expand beyond just your citizens. You have to recognize talents around the world, and they're quite big on pushing this narrative. And that's why we see a lot of black businesses are thriving in the UK.
All right, Dr. Kelvin Obasuyi, I want to say thank you very much for your time here on Newsday. And once again, congratulations and compliments of the season.